Hi again, Doug here from X-Frames FPV, and today I've got a little mini review for you really on this Turnigy Evolution Radio. And this is a really interesting one. When I first saw it, I just thought, okay, this is just a toy. But once I got it in my hands, I realized, oh wow, this feels really good. The gimbals are really nice and smooth. For me, it has the perfect amount of resistance, and it's the layout. It's comfortable for me. Now, I know a lot of guys that are pinchers. I'm a thumb guy. A lot of guys that are pinchers, it's not very comfortable for, I guess, if you kind of wrapped it around this way. But if you're used to pinching more this way, it's not you end up not holding on to kind of the lower part of the radio. It just doesn't feel comfortable. But for me, man, I love the way this feels. Now, let's look at the layout here. You have 3 position switches in the back, and they're very nice, high quality switches with these little rubberized ends, which is a nice touch. Got the rubber here on the side. These LEDs that light up and kind of change colors. Who cares? I don't care about that. But okay, I guess it's kind of cool. Sorry guys, the wind is really crazy out there, so if you hear some noises, that's what it is. You also have this switch here in the front. I use this one for arming, and then you have a dial if you have a gimbal. Now, I don't see that being used very much for this radio, because if you've got a drone with a gimbal, you're probably going to want more than just 3 switches. Okay, so anyways, but that's what it comes with. So let's take a look here. Let's get it where you can see it really well. The menuing is extremely easy to use. You can go through and scroll to bind. You click it, that's it. And you can just then go to your radio and just leave it there. It doesn't sit there and beep at you like some of the other radios do. Let's see some of the other output mode. You can choose PPM, PWM, iBus, or SBus. Albert Kim did a great review on it about how it responds better under iBus. It's more accurate. So that's something to keep in mind. But going through the menus is really easy. Everything is just, it's set up the way it should be. It's just user friendly. As us guys that have you can kind of swipe here. I was showing you here. Let me do it again. You can kind of see what's going on with the channels. When we're setting up a drone, for me at least, they're all really simple. If I'm building one for a customer, it's going to simply have rates, so that they can get used to flying depending on their ability. I'm going to put air mode on there on the position 3 on aux 1, and then I'm going to, for some people, put a buzzer and then arm, and this does all of that. I know it only has 5, that you can only have a choice of 5 models. That, again, to me is not that big of a deal, as easy as this thing is to bind. And with, as many drones as I have, they're all set up the same way, so it's really easy just to bind it to a new model. So if you have a bunch of models, that's it's kind of, I wish it was different. Wish they had more models available, but I don't see that as being a absolute, don't buy. What I do see right now as maybe holding off. Now, I have a customer that I have. I don't believe I already mentioned this, but I have 4 of his that I'm building in the shop right now. He already has one that I built. He's going from the DX6 to this because he absolutely loves it. And so we're getting receivers, and in that search, I have found it to be kind of hard to find receivers. Now, the receivers that come with it is this Turnigy TGYIA6C. This is basically the size of an X4R from FR Sky, so you can kind of get an idea of how big it is. Great receiver, however, you cannot buy it. When this radio first came out, these were available. You can buy them, but they have pulled them off the shelves. I think probably because they were running out of stock and needed these maybe for the kits for the radios, with the receiver. So, and that's more of an important thing to them, is to sell the radio with the receiver than just to sell the receiver by itself. I expect them to come back in stock. There's not a ton of information out there on which ones will work on this. This, does have iBus, so FL Sky stuff hypothetically should work on it. But, we don't know. I know that Albert Kim has done some, there's a couple that he put, I think it's I think it's an IG8 or something in FL Sky. It's a really tiny one. And that's great for smaller flyers that you're going to be flying not too far away, because it's not a diversity antenna, but there's not a lot of diversity antenna choices out there, at least that I could find. And if you know of some, put it in my comment section, because I could really use a source to get those. But I think that's going to be a temporary problem. They'll be putting these back, I'm sure, here relatively quickly. But I think, for a lot of people, this is going to be a great radio. For a lot of people, for some people, it's going to be it's just not going to happen. They're not going to like the fact that it only has 5 channels, or whatever it is. There's certain things that people don't like about it. But for me, I really do like it. For my customer, he absolutely, he hooked it up to a simulator, and he's like, am I crazy for wanting to switch over? And I said, told him no, it's a good radio. So nothing I didn't hit on is, let me see, is this the way it goes? It has this great little cover for throwing it. We put these sometimes, especially when they're this small, you're going to want to just throw it in your backpack, and you can do that with that cover. So it works really well, and everything on this just works the way you'd want it to. So if it's something you're looking for, I know they have them over at Hobbyking. That's where they sell them. And they're within, depending on when you buy it, it's within $50 to $70. So, guys, I really appreciate you. I can't tell you how exciting it's been to see how the community has been interacting. I love how positive it is. I want to keep it that way. I want to keep my channel to be fun and positive, and that's the way I want our comments and questions and all that to be. So hope you guys have a great day. Check out my website at xframesfpv.com, and I hope you get some time to fly.